On January 29, 2023, Brock Purdy sustained what could have been a career-ending injury. 10 months, 4 days later, on December 3rd, Purdy and the Niners would return to the link to face the team that caused it. I knew this game was coming. Shoot, every 49er fan knew this game was coming. I'm betting a lot of fans saw the schedule, looked for this specific game, circled it, and waited. It didn't matter who the team faced on the way to this game. This was the game that truly mattered to most of the fan base. And for good reason. We all know the story. We all know what happened. And quite honestly, we all know what happened when the game started. After a horrendous first quarter that saw the Niners have a grand total of -6 yards, the Niners put their foot on the gas and never looked back. 42-19. Nothing more really needs to be said about it. Except that wouldn't really make for a very good video. And so I thought about how I was going to continue the story of Brock Purdy in a meaningful way. And the inspiration actually came to me while I was watching some videos for research, and consequently also provided me with a name for this title. Because if we really wanted to be honest with ourselves, Purdy, even after the drama of the NFC Championship game, wasn't even the main story of this game. In fact, I would go so far as to say that he really wasn't the main factor in why the game went the way that it did. That's not to say that he wasn't important, far from it actually. People, for reasons unknown, don't want to admit it, but Purdy was actually the most important player on the field that day. I mean, we all saw what happened when he was taken out in the NFC Championship, and if you just looked at the stats, you'd probably be getting ready to tell me to get my head checked. How could I possibly see 19 of 27, 314 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 148 passer rating, and then say he wasn't the main factor? You see, 2 episodes I made a claim. He would prove to be one of the most efficient passers in the NFL. Now, if you were to look at Purdy's 2 touchdowns to Deebo Samuel, you would see this: a 48-yard pass and a 46-yard pass. Except if you dug down into those touchdowns, you'd see that both of those passes were probably 5 to 10-yard passes that Deebo then took and made plays on. You know, like he's paid to do. Why am I bringing this up? Because even though the Niners dominated the Eagles, this was one of the games that many people used to show why Purdy didn't deserve to be called the MVP or to even be in the conversation. Put simply, Purdy wasn't the reason they won this game, but he didn't have to be.
Does he deserve to be the favorite? He is.
No. Guys, we all watched a lot of football yesterday.
4 touchdowns. Very good.
Hold on. Hey, everybody can see the numbers.
Well, I'm just saying.
But luckily, we also get to watch the games. Was Brock Purdy the best player on his team yesterday?
No, Deebo.
No, Deebo was. Brock Purdy got, perfect passer rating and about 100 yards of passing on these, and 2 touchdowns on these 2 Deebo plays. Mm-hmm. And again, he's doing his job, and we can show you the 2 Deebo plays. He's doing his job, and I'm not knocking him. This is, again, we've jumped the shark where it's not about, you guys could have probably checkmated me if you guys just wanted to say, hey, Nick, ready to admit Purdy's a little better than you thought? I'd probably have to admit that.
Let's take a trip all the way back to week 14 when Purdy made his first NFL start. I know, I use this game a lot, but this game was crucial to Purdy's story. In that game, Purdy threw for 2 touchdowns. One was that 27-yard pass to Christian McCaffrey, and the other was that 32-yard pass to Ayuk. CMC was heading into the end zone and had 1 yard after catch, while Ayuk caught the ball at the 5 and took it in from there. 59 combined yards, but only 6 of them were yards after the catch. Those 2 deep shots, combined with his 10-yard rush, that's what won them that game. So again, why am I bringing this up? Because once again, people simply refuse to apply any sort of context or nuance to the Purdy discussion. There's a phrase that I've heard multiple times from multiple quarterbacks: take what the defense gives you. In the past 3 games, Purdy took a deep shot in each of them. In each of those games, the defense presented Purdy with opportunities to drive the ball down the field, and each deep throw resulted in a touchdown. In this game, the defense presented Purdy an opportunity to get the ball to his main playmaker of the game, Deebo Samuel. And none of those throws were deep because it didn't have to be. It wasn't about being flashy. It was about being efficient. Purdy had shown in the previous 3 games that he wasn't afraid to air the ball out when he needed to. But in this game, there was no point because it was easier and more efficient to attack the weakest part of the defense. Never before has the phrase, work smarter, not harder, been more appropriate. But, of course, people in the media have selective amnesia when it comes to certain players. So let's do an experiment. Here are the yardage and yak numbers for 2 separate quarterbacks for 12 games. This does include this game. Here's quarterback 1 and here's quarterback 2. Through 12 games, both quarterbacks had similar yards, but quarterback 1 had less yards after catch, and their percentage of yak in regards to their total yards was a little above 48%, while quarterback 2 had more yak, and their percentage of yak was a little over 9.5% more than quarterback 1. And even though quarterback 1 happened to be Purdy, he was the one being labeled a quote, yak merchant, while being discredited because of all the yak yards that he was racking up, while quarterback 2 not only had more yak yards by this point in the season, but more than half of his yards were after the catch. But nothing was being said about it. I guess that's what happens when your name is Patrick Mahomes. And the sad part is, people will hear me mention that name and immediately think I'm saying Purdy is better than Mahomes and completely dismiss everything I said rather than trying to dispute it. Such is life. And I get it. Biases. Some people watching this might be quick to point out that I'm doing the same thing. I'm being biased toward Purdy and using stats to back up my argument when stats only tell part of the story. And the thing is, yeah, I am using stats to back up my argument, and stats do only tell one side of the story, but these stats were being used to tell the whole story of this game and why Purdy didn't deserve any of the credit for the Niners winning this game. I mentioned before that Purdy wasn't the main factor as to why the Niners won this game, but he was the most important part of it, because for all of the yards that Debo ran after he caught the ball, for all of the yards that George Kittle ran after he caught the ball, for all of the yards that Christian McCaffrey ran after he caught the ball, and for all the yards that Juwan Jennings ran after he caught the ball. For all of those yards to be run, someone had to make the decision when and where to throw that football. Purdy didn't have to throw the ball far because the defense told him he didn't have to. Purdy didn't have to throw the ball far because he knew all he had to do was get the ball in Debo's hands and he could do what he did best. Purdy didn't have to throw the ball far because he didn't need to prove that he could. He had already done that multiple times before this game. People just chose to willfully ignore it and underestimate him. And what happens when you underestimate someone? 42-19. The Niners proved who the better team was that night and immediately looked to the next game, putting the Eagles squarely in their rearview mirror. And ahead of them, 2 division rivals that stood between them and the NFC West Championship, and the Niners were ready for a fight. Hold on, you didn't really think that I was going to go this entire video without talking about that play, did you? What kind of Niner fan would I be if I didn't talk about that play? And we all know what play I'm talking about, but for those of you who don't, to put it bluntly, Diamador Lenore turned the link into his Horcrux when he cast his own version of Avada Kedavra on DeAndre Swift.
It's over the middle. Oh my goodness.
And that's going to do it for this video. If you like this content, drop a like and leave a comment. To stay up to date, click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see ya in the next one.